I'm Adam.
And I'm Julia. We're here to help you improve your English speaking skills.
In each episode, we'll practice different aspects of English conversation, provide useful tips, and have some fun along the way.
Whether you're a beginner or looking to refine your skills, this podcast is designed to help you speak English more confidently and naturally.
So let's get started and make your English-speaking journey enjoyable and effective.
Ready to dive in? Let's go!
In each episode, we'll practice different aspects of English conversation, provide useful tips, and have some fun along the way.
Our goal is to make learning English engaging and interactive. We'll cover a range of topics from everyday conversations to specific situations you might encounter.
We believe that practicing regularly and in a relaxed setting can significantly boost your confidence and fluency.
So whether you're preparing for a trip, a job interview, or just want to chat more easily with friends, we're here to help you every step of the way. Today's topic is talking about hobbies and interests.
Let's start with a quick warm-up. Julia, what's one of your favorite hobbies?
I love painting. How about you, Adam?
I enjoy playing guitar. What got you into painting?
I've always been fascinated by colors and creativity. It's a great way to relax and express myself. What about you and guitar?
I picked up the guitar in high school. It's something that helps me unwind and connect with others through music.
Now we're going to have a conversation about hobbies. Listen to our dialogue and then we'll break it down.
Hi, Julia. What did you do over the weekend?
Hi, Adam. I spent my weekend painting a new landscape. What about you?
I practiced a new song on my guitar. It was challenging but fun.
Let's go over some key phrases we used. For example, I spent my weekend.
And I practiced. We'll explain how to use these in different contexts.
Let's start with my response. I spent my weekend painting a new landscape. This phrase, I spent my weekend, is a useful way to talk about how you used your time during the weekend. You can change the activity to fit your own experiences. For example, I spent my weekend hiking in the mountains, or I spent my weekend reading a new book.
That's right. The phrase, I spent my, can also be used for other time periods. You could say, I spent my afternoon watching a movie, or I spent my vacation exploring different cities. It's a versatile structure that can help you explain how you use your time.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about the activity part of the sentence. In my case, I said, painting a new landscape. You can replace painting a new landscape with any activity you enjoy. For instance, I spent my weekend cooking new recipes, or I spent my weekend playing soccer.
Great point, Julia. Next, let's look at my part of the dialogue. I said, I practiced a new song on my guitar. The phrase, I practiced, is another useful way to talk about activities you've been working on. You can use it to describe any skill or hobby you're improving. For example, I practiced my French, or I practiced my photography skills.
Yes, I practiced is very flexible. It's especially handy for describing efforts to get better at something. You can also specify what exactly you practiced, like I did with a new song and on my guitar. You could say, I practiced a new dance routine, or I practiced a new recipe.
Now let's put these phrases into a few more example dialogues to help solidify how they can be used in different contexts. Hi, Julia. How did you spend your Sunday?
Hi, Adam. I spent my Sunday baking cookies. What about you?
I spent mine practicing calligraphy. It's really calming.
That sounds nice. I've always wanted to try calligraphy.
You should. It's a lot of fun. Example 2.
Hi, Adam. Did you have a good Saturday?
Hi, Julia. Yes, I spent my Saturday hiking. How about you?
I spent mine practicing my guitar skills. It was quite rewarding.
That's awesome. What song are you working on?
I'm learning a classic rock song. It's tricky but exciting.
Example 3. Hi, Julia. What were you up to this weekend?
Hi, Adam. I spent my weekend gardening. What did you do?
I practiced my Spanish. It's challenging, but I'm getting better.
That's great. Learning a new language is so useful.
It really is. I enjoy the process.
Now let's break down some of the variations we heard. In these examples, we used the structure I spent my with different activities and time frames. Notice how you can easily switch out the activities to match your own experiences.
Exactly. We also saw how I practiced can be used with different skills and hobbies. Whether it's a musical instrument, a language, or any other activity, this phrase helps you clearly communicate what you've been working on.
Let's practice creating some more sentences together. I'll start with a few examples and then you can try making your own. How about, I spent my morning...
Sure. I spent my morning jogging in the park.
Great. How about, I spent my evening...
I spent my evening watching a documentary.
Perfect. Now let's try. I practiced my
drawing skills.
Excellent. Listeners, now it's your turn. Try creating your own sentences using I spent my and I practiced. Think about different activities and time frames that apply to your life.
Remember, the more you practice using these phrases, the more natural they'll feel. Don't worry about making mistakes. It's all part of the learning process.
That's right. And if you want to take it a step further, try having a conversation with a friend or a language partner using these phrases. It's a great way to reinforce what you've learned.
Now that we've practiced these phrases, let's move on to some additional tips for talking about hobbies and interests in more detail.
Tip 1. Use descriptive language. When talking about your hobbies, try to use descriptive language to make your conversation more engaging. For example, instead of saying, I like reading, you could say, I enjoy reading mystery novels because they keep me on the edge of my seat.
Yes, adding details about why you enjoy something can make your conversation more interesting. You could say, I love hiking because it allows me to explore nature and get some exercise.
Tip 2. Ask follow-up questions.
Another great tip is to ask follow-up questions to keep the conversation going. For example, if someone says they like cooking, you could ask, what's your favorite dish to cook? Or, have you tried any new recipes lately?
Asking questions shows that you're interested in the other person's hobbies and can lead to a more engaging and interactive conversation. Tip 3. Share personal stories. Sharing personal stories related to your hobbies can also make your conversations more memorable. For instance, you could talk about a time you participated in a painting class and what you learned from that experience.
Personal stories help build connections and make your conversations more relatable. You could share a story about a memorable hike you went on or a concert you attended.
Let's try applying these tips in a new conversation.
Sure, I'll start. Hi, Julia. What did you do last weekend?
Hi, Adam. I spent my weekend trying out new recipes. I made a delicious chocolate cake. How about you?
That sounds amazing. I spent my weekend hiking. I found a beautiful trail with stunning views. What kind of recipes do you like to try?
I love baking desserts. It's always fun to experiment with different flavors. Hiking sounds great. Do you have a favorite trail?
Yes, there's one near the coast that has breathtaking ocean views. Baking sounds like a lot of fun. What inspired you to start baking?
I've always had a sweet tooth, and baking is a great way to satisfy it. Plus, I enjoy the creativity involved. How long have you been hiking?
I've been hiking for about 5 years now. It's a wonderful way to stay active and enjoy nature.
That's fantastic. Maybe one day we can exchange a slice of cake for a hiking tip.
Deal. I'd love that.
In this conversation, you can see how we used descriptive language, asked follow-up questions, and shared personal stories to make the dialogue more engaging.
Yes, these techniques help create a more dynamic and interesting conversation. They also make it easier to connect with others over shared interests.
Listeners, try using these tips in your own conversations. Practice talking about your hobbies and interests with friends, family, or language partners. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
Remember, the key is to be curious and open-minded. Asking questions and sharing your experiences makes for a richer and more enjoyable conversation.
We hope you found this segment helpful. Now, let's move on to some vocabulary and phrases related to hobbies and interests.
Stay with us as we dive into useful words and expressions that will enhance your conversations.
See you in the next segment.
Here are some useful words and phrases related to hobbies: pastime, enthusiast, passionate about, to unwind.
Can you use to unwind in a sentence, Adam?
Sure. I like to unwind by reading a good book in the evening.
Great example. Let's go through each of these words and phrases in more detail.
Key vocabulary. First, we have pastime. A pastime is an activity that you enjoy doing during your free time. For example, one of my favorite pastimes is playing chess. Next, enthusiast. An enthusiast is someone who is very interested in a particular activity or subject. For instance, she is a photography enthusiast who spends her weekends taking pictures of nature.
Then we have passionate about. This phrase means to have a strong interest or love for something. For example, he is passionate about cooking and loves trying new recipes.
Lastly, to unwind. This means to relax after a period of work or stress. As Adam mentioned earlier, I like to unwind by reading a good book in the evening.
Interactive practice. Now it's your turn, listeners. Try to use these words in your own sentences. Think about your hobbies and how you spend your free time.
For example, you could say, one of my favorite pastimes is gardening, or I am a sports enthusiast and watch games every weekend.
Or, I am passionate about painting and spend hours in my studio. And, to unwind, I often go for a walk in the park.
Take a moment to think about your own hobbies and interests. How would you use these words to describe them?
Remember, practicing these words and phrases will help you use them more naturally in conversations. Don't be afraid to write them down and create sentences that apply to your own life.
Let's go through a few more examples to give you some additional practice. Example sentences. During the weekends, my favorite pastime is hiking in the mountains.
As a travel enthusiast, I love exploring new countries and learning about different cultures.
She is passionate about music and plays several instruments.
After a busy day at work, I like to unwind by watching my favorite TV shows. Listeners, try creating sentences like these with your own hobbies and interests. Practicing this will help reinforce your learning and make it easier to use these phrases in real conversations.
And if you have a language partner or a friend who is also learning English, you can practice together by sharing your sentences and giving each other feedback.
It's also helpful to write down new vocabulary words and review them regularly. Repetition is key to building your vocabulary.
That's right. The more you use these words, the more confident you'll become in your ability to speak about your hobbies and interests in English.
We hope you found this vocabulary segment helpful. Keep practicing and incorporating these words into your daily conversations.
In the next segment, we'll focus on pronunciation tips to help you speak more clearly and naturally.
Stay tuned.
One common challenge is the pronunciation of enthusiast.
Let's break it down. Repeat after us. Enthusiast.
Try saying it slowly first. Enthusiast. Now a bit faster. Enthusiast.
Great. Let's practice it in a sentence. Repeat after me. I am an art enthusiast.
One more time. I am an art enthusiast.
Excellent. Another word that learners often find tricky is passionate.
Yes, let's break it down as well. Repeat after us. Passionate.
Slowly first. Passionate. Now a bit faster. Passionate.
Let's use it in a sentence. Repeat after me. She is passionate about cooking.
Again, she is passionate about cooking.
Fantastic. Now let's tackle unwind.
This one is simpler but can still be tricky. Repeat after us. Unwind.
Slowly first, unwind. Now a bit faster. Unwind.
Let's use it in a sentence. Repeat after me. I like to unwind by listening to music.
One more time. I like to unwind by listening to music.
Finally, let's practice pastime.
Repeat after us. Pastime.
Slowly first. Pastime. Now a bit faster. Pastime.
In a sentence, gardening is a relaxing pastime.
Once more, gardening is a relaxing pastime.
Great job, everyone. Pronunciation practice is essential for clear communication.
Remember to practice these words regularly. Repetition will help you get more comfortable with their pronunciation.
Keep listening to native speakers and try to mimic their pronunciation. It's a great way to improve.
And don't forget, it's okay to make mistakes. That's how you learn and get better.
We hope you found these pronunciation tips helpful. Keep practicing, and you'll see improvement in no time.
In our next segment, we'll do a role-play activity to apply what we've learned. Stay tuned. Now let's do a role-play. Imagine you're meeting someone new at a party.
We'll act it out first, then it's your turn to practice with a friend or on your own.
Role-play dialogue. Hi, I'm Julia. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Julia. I'm Adam. Nice to meet you too. What do you like to do in your free time?
I enjoy painting. How about you?
I love playing guitar and hiking.
Discussion and analysis. Notice how we asked and answered questions about our interests.
Yes, the key here is to keep the conversation flowing by showing interest in the other person's hobbies and sharing your own.
Let's break down the dialogue further.
I started with a simple greeting. Hi, Julia. I'm Adam. Nice to meet you too. This is a polite way to start a conversation when meeting someone new.
Then Adam asked a follow-up question. What do you like to do in your free time? This is a great way to learn about someone's hobbies and interests.
Julia responded with, I enjoy painting, which gives specific information about her hobby. Then she followed up with a reciprocal question, how about you?
This keeps the conversation balanced and shows interest in the other person. Adam then shared his hobbies. I love playing guitar and hiking.
This structure helps create a natural and engaging conversation. It's important to be both a good speaker and listener.
Let's practice some variations of this role-play to give you more examples. Example 1. Hi, I'm Julia. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Julia. I'm Adam. Nice to meet you too. What do you do for fun?
I love baking. How about you?
I enjoy playing soccer and reading.
Example 2. Hi, I'm Julia. It's great to meet you.
Hi, Julia. I'm Adam. Great to meet you too. Do you have any hobbies?
Yes, I'm really into photography. What about you?
I like hiking and learning new languages.
Notice how in each example, we kept the structure similar but varied the wording slightly. This helps keep the conversation fresh and dynamic.
Exactly. Let's give our listeners some practice prompts to try on their own.
Here are some scenarios for you to practice.
Practice these scenarios with a friend or even on your own. The more you practice, the more natural these conversations will feel.
Remember to listen actively and show interest in what the other person is saying. It makes the conversation more engaging for both parties.
And don't worry about making mistakes. Every conversation is an opportunity to improve.
We hope you enjoyed this role-play activity. Keep practicing, and you'll see great improvements in your conversational skills.
Up next, we'll be answering some questions from our listeners. Stay tuned.
Answering listener questions.
Now let's answer some questions from our listeners. Here's one from Sarah. How can I sound more natural when speaking English?
Great question, Sarah. One tip is to practice with native speakers or use language exchange apps.
Yes, interacting with native speakers helps you pick up natural expressions and intonations. You can also mimic the way they speak to improve your fluency.
Another tip is to listen to a lot of English through podcasts, movies, and TV shows. Pay attention to how words are pronounced and the rhythm of the sentences.
Additionally, try to think in English rather than translating from your native language. This helps you become more fluent and less hesitant when speaking.
Practicing regularly is key. Even if it's just a few minutes a day, consistent practice will make a big difference over time.
Also, don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're a natural part of learning and help you improve.
Absolutely. Thank you for your question, Sarah. Keep practicing and you'll see improvement.
Our next question is from John. What are some good ways to expand my vocabulary?
Great question, John. One effective way is to read a lot. Books, articles, and even social media posts can introduce you to new words.
Yes. And when you come across new words, make a habit of writing them down and looking up their meanings. Try to use them in your own sentences.
Another method is to use flashcards or apps designed for vocabulary building. These can help reinforce new words and their meanings.
Engaging in conversations on various topics also helps. The more you talk about different subjects, the more your vocabulary expands.
Watching English language media with subtitles can also be beneficial. It allows you to see and hear new words in context.
Great tips, Julia. Thank you for your question, John. We hope these tips help you expand your vocabulary.
Our last question today is from Maria. How can I improve my listening skills?
Excellent question, Maria. One effective way is to listen to English every day. Podcasts, audiobooks, and songs are great resources.
Yes, and try to listen to a variety of accents and speaking styles. This will help you become more adaptable in understanding different speakers.
Watching movies and TV shows in English with and without subtitles can also improve your listening skills. Start with subtitles, then gradually try without them.
Practicing active listening is important. Focus on understanding the main ideas and details, rather than translating every word in your head.
Engaging in conversations with native speakers is also very helpful. It allows you to practice listening in real time and ask for clarification if needed.
Great advice, Adam. Thank you for your question, Maria. Keep practicing, and your listening skills will improve over time.
We hope you found our answers helpful. Keep sending in your questions, and we'll answer more in future episodes.
Up next, we'll wrap up with some final thoughts and tips for improving your English speaking skills. Stay tuned.
Today, we covered how to talk about hobbies, useful vocabulary, and pronunciation tips.
Keep practicing, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how you learn.
Next time, we'll discuss travel and adventure.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review.
See you next time on Speaking Practice with Adam and Julia.